Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. For the past few days, there's been a lot of uncertainty about the whereabouts of the Siaya Governor James Orengo, considering that many people feel that Orengo has not been reading from the same script as the majority of the Luo ODM parliamentarians and leaders. Before, during, and even a little bit of after the ODM unanimously joined hands with William Samoei Ruto, Orengo has been very firm, indicating that it was wrong and very unnecessary to join William Ruto. Orengo and some of the leaders like Nyong'o and Edwin Sifuna, Caleb Amisi, Okongo Mogeni of Kisii have been saying that joining Ruto was tantamount to betraying Kenyans. Those who supported, those who went to the streets and they were killed when the ODM led the Azimio Brigade in fighting for electoral justice when Raila said his votes were rigged. So they felt it was unnecessary. They felt maybe they would have fought to the end. Now, this rumor was exacerbated by the mere fact that I think that was Maverick Aoko, who said in her X handle that Orengo could have been poisoned. And you see, it was all over that if Orengo was poisoned, then the threat was coming from the Orange Democratic Party. Now, before dust settled, there was another rumor that was going on that in the midst of all this confusion, Orengo had resigned. And there is a letter there that was flying over. So the ODM thought this is enough. And so they decided to refute the claims, and they said that letter is fake and it should be ignored. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what has caught my attention is the mere fact that Orengo has remained mum on this. He's not talking, not refuting, not saying anything. While that is happening, the ODM is struggling to speak on his behalf. Now, I want us to look at this letter, not the content because this is something that you've seen, but the ODM said, we can authoritatively state that the letter below is fake. Ignore it and focus. Now, if you ask me, that letter lacks, the response from the ODM lacks something. And I could be wrong, but I want you to get this. There is no that assurance and assertion to the people of Siaya, to the followers of ODM, that Orengo is still part and parcel of ODM. Orengo is still their governor. They cherish him, and Orengo is one of their own. I feel they should have stated, just to assert and reaffirm that apart from just saying we can authoritatively state the letter below is fake, ignore and focus. Look at that. I want to give you an example. If, and for those who have listened to Daniel to Richard Moi in 1982, when there was a coup attempt, and then they thwarted that coup, and Moi had the opportunity to come to Kenyans. You don't just say, there is no coup, I'm now the president, and that is over. You have to give the assurance. You are still the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. You are in charge of the government, in charge of the state, and you assure Kenyans that everything is okay. There was no mention, that Orengo is still the governor. It was just, we can authoritatively state the letter below is fake, ignore it. So I thought the response should have been more detailed, just to assure Kenyans. Now, if you go to Orengo's X handle, Orengo has remained mum. I thought he should have been in solidarity with the ODM. Maybe after the ODM had spoken, just to the person handling the X handle of Orengo should have said, yes, Orengo is still in charge. Orengo has not resigned. But more so, the very sad news that maybe Orengo could have suffered poison. I thought Orengo would say something about it. But the last tweet that Orengo did was on 3rd. That was yesterday. after the Harambee Stars beat the Congo Football Club. And this is what Orengo said. Congratulations to Harambee Stars on a solid win against DRC in the CHAN Championship. A proud moment for Kenya. So according to Orengo, he simply ignored the rumors going on. Maybe he knows the rumors are fake, but what bothered me is the fact that Orengo doesn't, why should Orengo be quiet on all the allegations? Yet ODM comes and it is like they're struggling to assure Kenyans. That is why they just say ignore. In light of this, ladies and gentlemen, there is something. I feel three things are happening. Number one, something is definitely wrong. It is understood that Orengo has not been in office for over 1 month. That is what is said. He's not been seen in the public domain for some times. And that is, people try to trace back after he visited the State House. And in fact, that visit, some people felt that he was coerced to join to join William Ruto in State House after saying that Ruto was not fit to hold office and William Ruto would not be given a second chance. Just like Sifuna, who was somehow cajoled and coerced into, reading a joint resolution from an ODM meeting, the executive meeting, that gave the green light and supported Raila's decision to support William Ruto. Edwin was somehow forced, the same way people feel Orengo was forced to join William Ruto in State House. And this is because there were two characters that were being seen there as championing was trying to force Orengo to join William Ruto or support the Burmese government. This is Oburu Odinga and the Energy CS Opio and I. There were even attempts to lead the SIA delegation to State House in the absence of Orengo, when Orengo was also in another international mission. So it's in the public domain. Oburu has called on Orengo to resign if he's not in support of the broad-based government, just like people like Oburu and Atandi are calling on Sifuna to resign. So if you see Orengo keeping mum and the ODM is trying to answer, Orengo is not in solidarity with the ODM on this. The ODM is speaking on behalf of Orengo, but Orengo is quiet. So we can easily conclude that something is definitely wrong. Sooner than later, the truth will be known. Otherwise, after the ODM had spoken, maybe Orengo would have said that I've not resigned, everything is okay. It is alleged that there are already 3 competitors that are being lined up. Maverick Ako was mentioning Charles Owino, but Charles Owino does not read from the same page with the powers that be in ODM. When he was a police spokesperson, people felt that he was defending the government when ODM supporters were being killed. So I don't think if he's going to run, maybe not on an ODM ticket, but people say that he's also salivating for the SIA gubernatorial position. In fact, in 2022, Charles Owino and Gumbo teamed up. They wanted to give Orengo a run for his money, but Raila intervened. In fact, it was the former president Uhuru Kenyatta who prevailed over Charles Owino, and I think he was reinstated back to the police service or something. Tuju is also an emerging competitor. In fact, Tuju was in State House when the SIA delegate went to State House, and of course Gumbo is also being groomed. So Orengo is simply being told that we cannot win. Without you, we will still have another governor. So that is something that is being discussed. Number 2, Orengo is not in solidarity with the ODM, as I have said. Otherwise, he would have supported or said something just to be in line with what the ODM is saying. Otherwise, he has left the ODM to speak at the square. They're speaking on his behalf. Yet he also owns several social media pages and handles that is not using. He's just quiet. He's speaking of other things. And then the ODM is feeling the heat. They feel guilty. They know rumors are going on. So they had to come out and speak. So they just feel that they know very well that people are pointing accusing fingers to Oburu Dinga. Some are talking about Opio and I. Others are even mentioning, people like Otiende Amolo, the SEA Brigade. So they had to come up and speak and understand. When you see them coming out to defend this, they also feel guilty, sort of, and they want to clear the air. I don't know what you think, but Orengo's decision to ignore, not to speak on his resignation, not to comment on his alleged poison, something is wrong. I don't know what to think, but that's my take.